Let's just get our music up and going as well. Cool. All right, so we've reduced the enemy sight a little bit to make them not as crazy good at tracking us down, and then we just want to make them a little smarter so that if we're banging into an environment, we're not going to do anything stupid. Okay, so this navigation ray F is colliding. So basically what we're saying here, in fact, we don't, I think this will be more performant if we say put it around this way. So there's no point checking the navigation ray if our gun is cooling down. If we're reloading, right? If we're reloading, we don't need to check if the player's in our sights because we couldn't shoot them even if we wanted to. So let's not bother. Okay, and then what we need to do here is we need to figure out a way to get the layer of the colliding object. So I'm going to open up the Godot docs and say raycast to D, which is what we're using for our navigation rays. And what do we care about? So, well, that's quite interesting. Turns an individual bit on the collision mask. I think that's actually what we... No, we don't want that. No. So, returns whether an object is in... Okay. I think we just get collider. Okay. So, let's grab bar. Collider is equal to the navigation ray F dot get collider, right? And I'm just going to print this collider. And I think we want to figure out the layer that collider is on. So you can see now the enemies are just going to shoot like perpetually because there's always going to be a okay, kinematic body 2D. So that's when they run into the player, and then static body 2D is otherwise. Okay, so I guess what we want to do is just let me think. Okay, I think this threat zone can definitely get a bit smaller. Okay. So we could use a group here, we could use a layer, static body 2D. Let's have a look what that entails. Static body 2D. I apologize for the noise of the fan, but it's getting quite warm Okay. So what are we interested in? I think we're more interested in the physics body 2D and collision layer. Okay. We want to get the collision layer bit at bit 0, right? So let's copy that little bit of text, and what we're going to say is we're going to say the collider dot get collision layer bit, and we'll say player collision layer, and I'm going to put that at the top as a constant. Player collision layer, and that is just equal to 1, I believe. Okay, and then player collision let's just say tail collision. Oh, hold on. No, what we really care about is just the environment, right? Environment collision layer, and I think that's 4 off the top of my head. So environment. So we can say is environment is equal to that, right? And if is environment, let's just return. We don't care, right? So that could be a 4 or it could be a 3. Let me just check. We grab this and just have a look. So bit 0 or bit 2. Okay. So what we're saying here is, I might put this down slightly because I saw those enemies sort of bang into each other. So, okay. So we're saying, like, if we can shoot and there's something immediately ahead of us, let's figure out what that something is. If it's the environment, move on with our lives. Otherwise, shoot. So get collision layer bit. Let's just have a look at the documentation on that. It's a boolean. Okay, cool. Just making sure. So in fact, we could probably just do that without the interim variable. Okay, and I'll just add a comment here. Don't bother shooting if we'd hit a wall. Right. Cool, hopefully that's going to clean up the bullet hell in this game a little bit. Okay. Smack, smack. Alright, so they're definitely following along. They are being quite aggressive, which I think is fine. Okay. And you'll notice they will shoot at my tail, but they won't shoot at the wall. So okay. That's quite cool. I like that. Alright. And I was thinking that it might make sense for the enemies to sort of aim ahead of the player. But then I guess because the player normally has quite a long tail, it kind of just makes sense for them to push towards the head of the tail anyway. And if the player is moving too quickly, they're going to hit the tail anyway. So, yeah, okay, I think that's fine. I'm kind of happy with the AI as it stands. Now we just need to clean up the bullets once they hit stuff. So what do we care about then? Let's have a look at our Viper. So enemy projectiles, we've got a bullet scene here. Okay, so what I'd like to do is have like an explosion. So I'm going to create a CPU particles. It's going to be like a one shot. So let's have a look. So maybe 10. The time is going to be like quite quickly. The one shot is true. Maybe we'll turn that off for now though. Speed scale, explosiveness. The explosiveness is going to be 1. It's going to be fully explosive. The randomness mission. Yep, that's fully randomness. Lifetime randomness. Fully random. Not local coordinates. So as soon as we create these particles, they are in normal space. They're not relative to the bullet. So if the bullet hits something and then ricochets off, the particles are not going to follow the ricocheted bullet. They're going to just stay where they are. That's why the local coordinates need to be off. Texture. I think we've kind of got a cool texture that we can use for this. So let's... I think it's time to start making the game look a little bit pretty. At least. It's an ugly mess at the moment. And that's not having a go at Kenny's amazing effects. Okay, so I kind of like these clouds. They're quite cool. Maybe just that really sharp blue is kind of cool. Oops. Okay, so that's now dragged here into our scene. And let's just rename that to particle dot ping. Okay. So we've got our particles, and we'll say this is the collision effect, right? And I'm going to drag this particle ping into the texture for the particle, right? Alright, so let's turn this on. Okay, so you can see it's quite large. I might increase the lifetime. Okay, now what else do we care about? Okay, so I think we're going to have a small sphere of maybe about 2. So they should be able to be emitted sort of maybe even a bit bigger than that. Yeah. So they don't necessarily just come from one point. They can sort of come randomly from anywhere. Okay, what are the flags? Direction. Okay, so the spread needs to be way bigger. So the spread means like how many different directions can we go in? Okay. Gravity. Okay. So the direction, it should be 0, and we should be going in about like 100.